They were having like this chambers discussion about a deputy sheriff who was being charged and investigated for having inappropriate, you know what I'm talking about, with a minor.
Okay, so a lot of flack that I get on this show is some of the topics that I talk about. I am told that these topics are just in the city. Pearl, you're not talking to real people. Not all women are like that. The women in the country are just so super special and different. And, I hear you guys. I do think that a lot of women in the city are more open about what they can and cannot get away with than maybe in the country. But I'll see TikToks and Instagram reels that just prove that women are women no matter where we go. It's like they find a pastor cheating on his wife, and they're like, well, pastors are pastors. So we got this lady here. Let's see what she has to say.
Very insane small town drama. Okay, perfect, gorgeous. In Whitesburg, Kentucky, a population of like 1,500 people, all right, they're in the center of a scandal because a Kentucky judge named Kevin Mullins last year was shot and killed execution style in his chambers in full view of surveillance footage. There is footage, like you can literally clearly see these people talking, by his very close friend, his best friend, the sheriff named Sean Steins. After this murder happens, okay, Sean, the former sheriff now, is arrested, charged with first-degree murder. He pleads not guilty, despite the fact that literally on camera, execution style. It comes to light through pouring through this footage and the audio, obviously, of the judge's chambers. Judge was full on extorting women in his chambers to basically do things for him in exchange for lesser sentences or probation or leniency, blah, 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 blah. He would throw these massive Epstein-level parties for a small town. And apparently, when they're interviewing people, like one of the people who works at the jail, all of that, they're like, oh yeah, everyone knows about those parties. Everyone's just a swinger here in Kentucky, in Whitesburg, Kentucky. It's just like, everyone just like knows. Like, you just say no if you don't want to go. What? Not to mention there was
So this small town in the middle of nowhere, women are throwing it back for lighter sentences. It's like, I can't make this stuff up. I can't. How am I supposed to ignore the fact that in small towns they do crazy stuff too? It's just women are women, men are men. Women are always going to like sleep their way to get away with stuff, and men are usually going to take it.
Different sheriff in the town who at the time, apparently there was a meeting happening right before this judge, okay, got execution style murdered. They were having like this chambers discussion about a deputy sheriff who was being charged and investigated for having inappropriate, you know what I'm talking about, with a minor. You mean the people who got all C's in high school and couldn't even make it in the military, use their power and position and qualified immunity to victimize people? I'm shocked. Well, obviously, the sheriff who murdered the judge is pleading not guilty. We don't know what their defense is. Obviously, we won't know until the trial. But I'm interested to hear, like, obviously, we want to assume, oh, like, maybe that he has, like, a, you know, he's the hero of the day. Getting the bad guy, like, that was what was in his head. But hard to believe that he wasn't aware of this the entire time he was sheriff. So wild. You want to hear something even more ironic? The county is called Letcher County. Do you know what the word Letcher means? Like, come on. What is...
Yeah, and I'm not surprised. Women, as most of you know, I have been fighting on the front lines of the simp epidemic for years, but I need to tell you about a quiet weapon being ratcheted up against men that is rarely talked about. It's not just the relentless anti-masculinity propaganda and OnlyFans hoes causing the societal issues that we discuss on this show. Did you know that the average city's tap water contains trace pharmaceuticals and endocrine disruptors? This often includes estrogen from birth control. The average adult consumes a credit card worth of plastic every single week. That's 5 grams of plastic a week on average. So it's no wonder that the average male's testosterone is half of what the average was 50 years ago. Testosterone levels decline 1% a year, and without a course correction, we are headed towards extinction. No matter how based you are, you need to be naturally boosting your testosterone. My friends at Chalk, CHOQ.com, are on a mission to save mankind from extinction by boosting your vitality. Chalk's Male Vitality Stat contains premium and potent herbs clinically studied to naturally boost your testosterone levels, sperm count, and overall vitality. Just one of the many ingredients in the Male Vitality Stack was studied in double-blind human clinical trials to boost total testosterone 20% in 90 days. When you boost your testosterone, you'll have more mental clarity, you're more capable of making decisions and taking risks. Having high testosterone will also affect your pheromones, so women will find you more attractive subconsciously. Get the Chalk Male Vitality Stack right now on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. Use my name Pearl as your coupon code and you'll get 25% off site-wide on chalk.com. That's CHOQ.com. My name Pearl is the discount code. Exchanging sex to get away with things. So next we have a lawyer explaining why divorce rates of NHL players are 70%. So many women say that they want the tall guy, the athletic guy, the guy that has it all. And on paper, you would think NHL players are really, they're the chads that a lot of women are picking. But even they get divorced. So don't take it personal, fellas. It just, it kind of is what it is.
Room and have the room for a moment, regardless of what sport it is. What advice are you giving these guys?
So I've actually done this. I've had the opportunity to do this. And the one thing I tell people right off the bat, because every professional athlete tends to be pretty excited about their girlfriend, the wag, whatever she may be, or he may be, whatever the case may be. Obviously, there's a lot of female professional athletes as well. You got to know the divorce statistics. And the fact of the matter is the national divorce statistics for regular people, Joe's off the street, is just under 50%. I think it's actually about 47% for first-time marriages. For professional athletes, for a lot of reasons, that number is way higher. It's closer to about 70%. And of that 70%, so you're batting about 50% higher than the general public. 50% of those divorces will come within 1 year of your retirement from your sport. And that is a stunning number. And so, a lot of these athletes have beat the odds to become pros. And a lot of them think that because they've done that, they're going to beat this statistic as well. But as you know, you can't beat statistics, and statistics are independent of one another. And so just because you beat the odds to become a pro athlete doesn't mean you're going to beat the odds of things like bankruptcy and divorce. You've got to recognize those numbers.
That's the false dichotomy that a lot of men make when we talk about these divorce stats. They act like you can avoid it just because you're successful in other areas of your life. And it's just simply not true. It's kind of a cope for men that are kind of scared of their wives. That's what I've noticed. It's men that are still in the good parts of their marriage, like they're still having kids. It's not till after the kids are done that the women really tend to become terrible people. And usually it's like more of a reversion, right? It's usually women reverting back to their hardware programming. Because what happens is women, not all women, but there's good women and bad women. But women, it's like, I remember in school, there was a girl I played volleyball with, and she was so mean to everyone on the court. She was so bitchy and just rude. And then, what would happen? Her boyfriend would come around and I'd be like, that is a different person. So women can put on a mask for other people and take it off when they get what they want. But now you're not even seeing women want to give men the courtesy of the mask anymore. That's the crazy thing. Now they're just being who they are. They're being terrible people in public.
And you've got to plan for them, because otherwise you're in to take a pretty brutal financial hit.
Okay, well, let's talk about why that percentage is so much higher and why it happens inside of that first year. I'm sure you have some ideas on why that is.
I mean, your lifestyle obviously changes quite a bit from the time you were playing to the time you retire. When you're playing, you're a high income earner. You're separated from your family all throughout the season. You may be home for a few days, but then you're off for pretty long periods. And so you don't have a traditional family structure where you're sort of seeing your family every night and then leaving in the morning. That's just not how it is. And then in the off season, it tends to be very sort of perfect, right? Because you're trying to get as much as you can in during that off season. You're going on tremendous vacations. You're doing everything you can with the kids. It's just an amazing opportunity, but that's not real life. And that's not the real life that most people live. Once you retire, you go back to being, for most people, sort of a normal person living a normal life. But that's not the relationship you built while you were.
Yeah, and I think a lot of women think they like the guy until they actually get to know him when he comes home. That's how many divorces. That's why there were so many divorces after COVID. I mean, they think they like the guy and then they get to know him and they realize they can't like anybody. I mean, we have a hard time liking each other. Don't take it personal, fellas. It's not you, it's us.
Playing. And so for a lot of people, I think that's a really, really tough transition, whether for the athlete who may be experiencing things like depression from not being able to play anymore and missing their teammates in the locker room and really having to deal with this new lifestyle, to the spouse who now all of a sudden has got you around all the time. And that just wasn't the deal while you were playing. And I think that sort of sets the table for a situation where divorce is really prevalent.
I've always made the joke about these Legends tours that a lot of these retired players go on is more so to be like the wife is going, get out, I'm not used to this, right? Rather than a whole, I miss playing hockey. It's more so to kind of keep that structure intact.
Yeah.
I honestly don't even know if living together is great for couples. I mean, couples just always end up hating each other when we live together.
I mean, a lot of these guys, if you've made enough money, don't have to work. And I find that some of them, the plan is just, hey, I'm going to play golf all the time. But that plan crumbles after a while pretty quickly because you don't want to play golf all the time. And you just don't have that outlet and you don't have that passion like you did for the sport that you've played since you were 2 years old. And it's really hard mentally for guys.
Is it to some degree like the woman that you married sees you now post-retirement, all the success, all the accomplishments? That's why she wanted to be with you in the first place, because she wanted the best.
And the clout that came with being that guy's wife. A lot of athletes, they just become regular people when they're done.